Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com.
Hello everybody, I'm Sarah Lane and welcome to lucky episode 13 of iFive for the iPhone, the show for iOS fans like you and me and that guy over there. Every week we cover 5 topics from the best apps to tips and tricks and of course, all the news you need to know. Okay, let's do it. Number 1, some of you might watch or listen to my daily tech news show, Tech News Today. Very descriptive name, I know. And as you can imagine, hosting a show about tech news, I have to read a lot about tech news. I have to read all of it, really, so that I can speak with authority about a wide range of topics. But reading news gets complicated, right? Multiple blogs might post really similar articles, and I have to cut through that noise. Or an author might write about a subject that he or she has a really strong opinion about, maybe some bias, and I need to take that into consideration before I pass it along to the audience. So that's why a new app called Circa News is really promising, because it promises just the facts. So say there's a developing story that a handful of sources are covering. Instead of me reading each individual story, Circa pulls facts, quotes, maps, updates, anything that's relevant from each story, and gives me the overall synopsis in a single place. If I want to know where all the sourced info is coming from, I can turn on the info button and see all of that. And if I want to follow a future update on this story, I just flag it and it gets added to my followed stories list. If I have notifications turned on, then I'm alerted the moment that any time the story continues to unfold. This isn't an algorithm, by the way. Circa employees are individually putting each news topic together. Not really sure how that's going to scale, but it is a small team for now. I mentioned that I read a lot of tech news specifically, and that's one thing that Circa is missing for me, at least right now, the ability to filter by topics. I'm just interested in certain topics more than others. Right now, it's just top news and election coverage or stuff that I'm following. I asked the team about it, and they say that search is coming in a future update, so I look forward to that. For now, if you read a lot of news and you want to minimize redundancy and editorial slant, Circa News does the job, and it's free. Number 2. Much has been made about the product that can successfully become the Instagram of video. I haven't seen that product yet. Social video sharing apps are out there. They're out there in force. They're very compelling, but there's something about moving pictures that just doesn't seem to flow the way sharing photos does. Too much of a time commitment with video. You don't know how long it's going to be. You don't even really know what you're going to see. The audio can be bad. Video is just a different beast. And that's why an app called Lightt, that's spelled like L-I-G-H-T, but with another T on the end, is trying something new. It's sort of a photo-video hybrid. So instead of taking 10 seconds of video, Lightt will take 10 seconds worth of photos, so still images, over a 10-second period. The result is a stop-motion effect of the photos that you shot strung together into a quick burst. So when I'm done, I can give the collection a caption, I can send it off to Twitter or Facebook. As I add to my Lightt, my collection grows. As I add friends, their collections show up in the Happening Now area. I can also watch the featured section and get snippets of life from Lightt users I don't necessarily know. I don't know any of these people, actually. If I see something that I like, I can pause, give it a heart, add a comment. I can even save a still image from a collection. It doesn't have to be my own. It could be a stranger's collection. Might be kind of weird. Okay, so we have a social network built around quick burst of photos rather than single photos, but not really video either. How do we feel about all of this? I think it's creative. It's definitely creative, but it also gives me a little bit of motion sickness. That's just the truth. I'm not sure how often I'd want to be watching this kind of activity feed. It's a little crazy. I think I'd like the option to maybe slow down the timeline a little bit. That would be nice. My gut says this still isn't the Instagram of video, but maybe this is just what you've been looking for, and if so, I have good news. It's free. Número 3. Speaking of Instagram, my next app will definitely get you some attention in Instagram because the results will confuse everyone. It's called Mirrorgram, and it makes normal photos into mirror images. So you either take a photo or you load a photo from your camera roll into Mirrorgram. Then you just hit the M button and Mirrorgram will create your mirror image split right down the middle. Slide your finger across the image to change the image split placement to your liking. Zoom in or zoom out with a 2-finger pinch, or hit the M again and then you get horizontal or diagonal split options. You get a bunch of options actually, and they're all really different. The results are sometimes beautiful, sometimes they're like horrifying, depending on, of course, your subject and what you choose. Mirrorgram's got some Instagram-like filters too. I don't really think they're all that exciting, but they do add a little bit of variety, and at least you'll know how they work. When you're happy with your creation, you can add a caption, and then you can send it over to Instagram itself, or you can send it to Twitter or Facebook, or something called Stage Block, which is another platform by the same team. Or you can just save it to your device and decide what to do with it later. I love Mirrorgram, it's a lot of fun, and I definitely think it's worth 99 cents. Number 4. Got an email from Damon in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, who's got a warning for anybody who has an iPhone 5 case and also might want to buy a 30-pin adapter. He writes, "It won't fit my iPhone 5 with my spec Pixel Skin HD case. Evidently, it's designed to have the white plastic on the 8-pin side flush against the base of the iPhone. With my case on, the pins don't go completely in and the grooves won't lock inside, so now I'll have to return it and either get another standard $19 Lightning cable or opt for the even more expensive $40 Lightning adapter with the 0.2 meter cord, which would function like the standard Lightning cable. Can you say, ah?" I'm rather frustrated about this. Yes, Damon, I don't blame you. It took about 3 weeks for my 30-pin adapter to arrive in the mail as well. And if I already had a case that wasn't compatible, I'd be upset too, especially since it looks like you already paid $30 for your Pixel Skin case. Otherwise, it looks very nice. It's worth keeping this in mind if you're shopping for an iPhone 5 case, by the way, because there's so many different manufacturers. Remember, some accessory makers may have started producing cases even before the iPhone 5 was announced to get a jump on inventory, but then might have compatibility issues because of that. So read the fine print and make sure your case covers official adapters. On this subject, we got another email from Kathy. She writes, "What's your take on getting a case for the new iPhone 5? It's a beautiful phone, but shouldn't I be concerned about scratching, especially at the bottom of my purse? What do you think?" Thank you, Kathy. Actually, you're reminding me that a few weeks ago I said that we would revisit the potential scratching issue after a few weeks of normal wear and tear. I'm like you, my phone goes into my purse with keys and change and pens and earrings and it's just all sorts of stuff that can scratch up the phone. And I'm pleased to say I don't see anything. It looks like an ever so slight scratch on the shiny Apple logo itself on the back, but I mean, this is really hard to see, so I'm not bothered by it. White iPhone 5 is holding up well, people, which is good because I'm not a big iPhone case person. I don't want to cover this guy up. He's my little buddy, and he's extremely attractive. Finally, we got a tip from Brian, who wrote in recommending a new app called Recall, or Recall. The idea behind the app is simple. You hear about a cool music artist or movie or book from a friend or a coworker or somebody who's hipper than you, and you either try to commit it to memory, and then you risk forgetting about it, or maybe you jot it down in your notes app or something with all the other stuff that you're trying to remember, which can work, but it's not an elegant solution. Recall tries to clean this up for you. So if you want to remember some music, search for it in Recall, find the right result, and add it. Same thing for movies, or apps, or books, or TV shows. You can even add custom items and just make your own reminders list. The idea is to make sense of all the media that you're trying to stay on top of. Some items work better than others, though. So, for example, I want to recall a book recommended to me called The Dinner. It's a book that's coming to the iTunes bookstore next February, so it's going to remind me the day that it becomes available. That's great. That works perfectly. That's what I want to know. Same thing for the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2 movie. Maybe you've heard of it. Although I highly doubt that anybody who's a huge Twilight fan needs to be reminded of when that movie is opening in theaters. This could work really well for a smaller movie, indie movie, documentary, that sort of thing. But then for another movie like Snow White and the Huntsman, it's already on DVD. There's no Netflix integration though, and I have Netflix, so that would be helpful to me. So if I want a reminder, I just have to set it for myself, just like an arbitrary date. And if I really like a certain musical artist, I can't just set a reminder for the next album that doesn't exist yet. It's only for stuff that already does exist. The apps category doesn't seem that helpful to me because if somebody tells me an app is cool, then I just download the app right now. But maybe, I don't know, the app's expensive. Maybe I'd like to do more research first. If you're an organized person like that and you like to separate your media, and if you like thumbnails and descriptions, Recall might be for you. It's 99 cents, and at least for now, it's US only. That'll do her for this episode of iFive for the iPhone. For links to everything we always talk about, to subscribe to the show totally free in HD, or to catch up on episodes 1 through 12, just visit us at twit.tv/iFive. Email us at iFive@twit.tv, leave us a voicemail at 614 on iFive, or send us a video with an app review of your own. I'm Sarah Lane. I'll see you next week. Go Giants!